Before more recent technology was invented, surveyors would chisel a horizontal mark in a permanent structure, where a tool could be placed in the indentation to help create a benchmark with a level rod, helping them and future craftsmen to have a point of reference for building. In the business world, companies use benchmarking as a point of reference as well, but instead of having physical benchmarks carved in stone, they use benchmark reports as a way to compare themselves to others in the industry. Benchmarking is the practice of a business comparing key metrics of their operations to other similar companies. You can also think of a benchmark report as a dashboard on a car. It is a way you can quickly determine the health of the business. Much like a dashboard where you can check your speed, gas level, temperature, a benchmark report can examine things like revenue, expenses, production amounts, employee productivity, etc. Benchmarking occurs across all types of companies, including private, public, nonprofit, for-profit, as well as industries, e.g., technology, education, manufacturing. Many companies have positions or offices in the company that are in charge of benchmarking. Some of the positions include institutional researcher, information officer, data analyst, consultant, business analyst, market researcher. Companies use benchmarking as a way to help become more competitive. By looking at how other companies are doing, they can identify areas where they are underperforming. Companies are also able to identify ways that can improve their own operations without having to recreate the wheel. They are able to accelerate the process of change because they have models from other companies in their industry to help guide their changes. Best practices. This is a benchmark report where companies choose to look at a company or companies that they aspire to be like. By choosing companies that are on the leading edge of the industry, they can identify best practices that help improve their own company. Peer benchmarking. This is a benchmark report where companies choose to look at other businesses very similar to themselves. This allows companies to make sure they are staying competitive with similar businesses. SWOT. This is a type of benchmarking report where companies gather data by looking at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to help understand their climate. Collaborative benchmarking. This is benchmarking as a part of a group. Many industries have associations they can join, e.g., the Association of Information Technology Professionals, the National Education Association. These collaborative associations allow for members to provide information to the association. The association can then provide benchmarking and best practice reports for the membership. Step 1. Determining benchmark focus. During this phase, the company determines the specifics of the research project, e.g., which companies they will include in the research, what types of metrics they will compare. Step 2. Planning and research. During this phase, the company puts the resources together to implement the project, e.g., develop surveys, seek cooperation from other companies, find databases already available. Step 3. Gathering data. During this phase, the data is collected through the methodology determined in the planning and research phase. Step 4. Analysis. After gathering the data, the company uses statistical techniques to examine and create the findings. Step 5. Recommendations. After analyzing the data and areas where the company can improve, recommendations are developed. Step 6. Implementation. After reviewing recommendations, the company implements those that are feasible. Step 7. Continual improvement. The benchmarking process is a continual one. After implementing the recommendations, companies continue to benchmark and make improvements to stay competitive in the marketplace. As an example, let's imagine that while going to school, you take a part-time job at a local pizza parlor. Your boss finds out that you are majoring in business, and he asks you to help him understand how well his business is doing compared to the other local pizza businesses. One of the key questions he has is where he fits among the competition concerning the size of his business. One of the metrics you decide to benchmark is the average number of pizzas sold daily. You find 5 other similar pizza businesses within the same town as yours and are able to convince them to participate in your study after promising them a copy of the results. You create a survey including a question that asks the number of pizzas they sell on a daily basis. From this data, you're able to share with your boss that his company is at the lower end of production, with 3 companies selling more pizza daily and 1 selling fewer pizzas. Luckily, you have also benchmarked hours of operation and are able to show your boss that he closes an hour before most of the competition. By opening an additional hour, he may be able to increase the number of pizzas sold. Benchmarking is an important tool for companies to help them improve and stay competitive in the marketplace. Benchmarking always starts with a research question and ends with recommendations and successful implementation of things that will make the company stronger. Benchmarking is a continual process that, if done properly, will keep companies competitive and successful.